and I'll be picking all that up. Oh, and before I forget, man, I've been doing this. I'm sorry, YouTube. But, we got Senji Cookie popping in here, grabbing the very last Lardine, Calaria Star, S2D Vitez. I don't know, I just seem to be dyslexic, and every time I want to do SD2, which is not what the name is. Darstrider, Captain Sanity, Ben Lee, Burnin' Sun. We got Ben Lee on their 90 stream streak, 9-0, getting their extra 450 points, so heck yeah, and the ridiculous number of streams you've got. Bong Spill popping in here, as well as Eonek. Do we have anyone I have missed? We've got Flack popping in here. Jaywalker, Kira Liz, and Silmus all popping in here. Let's see, you're a bit sad because one of the streamers, you or mine, took a break, but now they said they'll not be coming back. I got offered to take over the channel, which is interesting. Oh. Interesting. Well, I mean, if you decide to take that on, let me know. But, yeah, for the record, you're gonna see that a lot. Hey, Sendoran, you're gonna probably see that a lot, very genuinely. Not the handing the channel over to other people. That's actually something you don't hear of very often. But you're probably gonna see a lot of creators in this year are going, like, more so than normal, are probably going to be taking breaks permanently, kind of thing. And that's both on Twitch, YouTube, and likely other platforms. And a big part of that is just the economics have changed. It's very, very competitive and all that kind of stuff that it's very difficult for that to be a manageable thing and all that sort of stuff. The financials are way harder and all that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, stuff like the Plus program down here, I've mentioned before that they're going to be the people, they knock out their first 2 months, and then they get to the third month and they get, like, of their 100 points or the 300 points, whatever they're going for, that they come up shy, like, 2 or 3 at the end of the month and they don't make it. And I just worry that'll be so demoralizing that that'll be the end for that. You also have people, you know, like, just the world situation has changed, like, the technology thing, and very much, like, Twitch is very focused on profit right now, and there's going to be people who that just doesn't vibe with them. So I would not be surprised if you do see a lot of people, you know, more so than normal, as, like, we get to, like, tougher times of the year, drag out and all that, that you do see people decide to take a break, and then a break becomes more than a break, or officially quit, or officially step away. And even then, like, especially on YouTube, the content format changes so much that it just burned out a lot of people. That's one of the reasons why you've seen so many creators this past year on the YouTube side that have been staples on the platform for the last decade plus have gone, you know what? Just, I don't got it in me anymore. I don't wanna. And they take a step away. It's gotta be hard. Especially like when you establish yourself as having a type of content, you built that audience, and then they switch the algorithm, and now that content just doesn't work with the algorithm. So you've got to try to go, okay, how do I keep my existing audience that I built around this content while I also pivot over to content that works with the new algorithm? I can't imagine. All right, anyways, not to get into that too much farther, but we're gonna go and pop into where we left off with the Krebs Crab Raider run. Where we left off last time, we began a recruitment drive. So we're, you know, nowhere near as short on people. We do got a lot of squishy, not quite trained people. We did find, we had our first, not Holy Nation, we had the first United Cities attack since we put the Crabs on the defense group. The Crabs demolished the United Cities people who attacked, so that worked out really well. We have recruited, I believe, 5 more skeletons to work on the home base. So if you actually look at it, we got a whole bunch of skeletons now running around, starting to work to try and keep the farms and keep the food going, with the intent of being able to move over to armor. So that's a good time. You all have food, right? I think we stocked you up. Yeah, we did. Meanwhile, we've got our... Wait. Okay. For some reason, I thought Ben Lee was one of the skeletons. But yeah, so we got good progress here. Now, the pro and the con we have right now with our away team is like 3 or 4 of these people are brand new recruits. So they suck at fighting. So we need to work on that. In the meantime, we do have all these people, and you might go, why are their portraits broken? They're not. Their portraits are fine. They just don't have heads. So we're getting a nice, pretty picture of their face on their headless bodies. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't think about it too hard. So where is Agnew at? So Agnew is working on making the steel plates. Because we are trying to get to where we can start making armor, and then we'll probably make Agnew our dedicated armor smith so that we can make armor that's not terrible. We've got our wonderful crab army. They mostly stand around and look intimidating until they get hungry, then they grab a little bit of food. Where's the rest of you? Oh, they're up here. At which point they grab snacks and all that. They basically stand around until someone decides to pick a fight, and then they murder the crap out of whoever picks a fight. That's the crab life now. Now, as you can see, we sadly do not swim fast because penalties. So, are we going to have the reoccurring attacks again? Okay. So, yeah. It seems like the Empire assaults are going to resume per normal again. So, that's going to be a good thing for the time being. But yeah, for those who are curious where we got these extra recruits from... Oh, is it actually 6? I thought it was only 5. We captured a bunch of weakened thralls from the, from Venge. And we have the recruitment mod, so we recruited them. Which is a whole thing. The dialogue, you have to enter, like, a password sequence for them. It is... What is it? 12 characters deep? Yeah, it's 12 options deep. Which takes a while, because we had to trial and error our way through all of them. But it's a pattern that once you learn the pattern, you could safely, like, just redo it again and again. So Darstrider's working that. Is that the rye silo? Okay. So we've got another silo built. But basically, we're trying to get all the food production stuff online, get the armor production. This is our support group for the crab army and all that. We want to try and get ourselves being able to produce like masterwork armor and all that kind of stuff, because the crab armor, when it's low quality, the penalties are absolutely obnoxious, because it's very heavy plate armor. So like I said, expect our new recruits in this group. You're not allowed to hit things in the water. Okay, I'm alright with this. I don't know how it's defying the rules and attacking that crab person in the water, but I can't fight back, so, you know. Best of luck with you with the beak thing, friend. It must be, like, shallow enough water that the beak thing can stand. Did we have more research? Right, so one of the things I need to work on with the research is we need to grab more books, so that I could start training to just be better at basic, like, making construction materials and iron and those type of things. Because as we do the armor, it's going to eat more and more and more of those. One moment. Alright, sorry about that. Okay. And more beak things and more beak things. I have finally gotten back to work. Don't attack me. No, don't go that way. Don't swim into the beak things. No, nope, keep going this way. They really want to backtrack as opposed to going across this way. And that's because they're really bad at swimming right now. As they get better, they'll be more consistent in their traveling. Alright, so Darth Strider was handling all of this. Just keeping all that food rolling. All right, so it looks like we got all of our oven stoves, whatever, done. They're working on making the ovens. Intellect rolled a 49 and became allergic to their favorite food. It's time to find a new favorite dish and deal with the sniffles. Why would you do this to yourself? Alright. I do appreciate that it rains a decent amount here, because that rain means I don't have to water the crops nearly as much. Alright, so you don't actually need anything in this town. It's just a convenient anchor spot. So that's Southern Hive territory. That's United Cities. I do think we're at a point down here. Yeah, everything's dangerous down this corner. What I need to do is get to someplace less dangerous. So let's start trying to head west. Did we ever figure out what was here? Yeah, it was a dead tech hunter town. Yeah, and that's Southern Hive. That's Southern Hive. That's also destroyed. I don't know if we've gone that way yet. Oh. They're not open. Oh, they're not open, and we have no money. Okay. I was gonna say, it's like, oh, we could go grab crab armor for them. Yeah, so let's just head down that way. So what we're doing with this group is we're just having them run down here to, you're spoofed? Not the pity party, but at least you managed to get a proper, standing ovation for the pity party. Yeah, I'll check what that outpost is, see what we can find. We're basically going to explore the nearby territory and see what we can do. I forgot there's still a prisoner cage to be built. I'm not working on getting a bunch more home team people yet. What we will most likely do over time is as the base builds up, is I will like grab a couple people to operate as permanent turret gunners and put them on, you know, fire at will. So that if anything hostile shows up, we just start blasting them with harpoons while they're still in the water to give us as much of a buffer before they can actually make a move on the town as possible. Right now, we don't have walls tall enough to do that, though, so that's going to depend on getting a lot of our stuff back at home upgraded. Yeah, so we can check by nearby ruins, do what we can to fight them, and get all that sorted out. But we have been trying to put a little bit of a mix of equipment into our group. I mentioned with going with the theme of like the crab people. I do think I want to move all of them into using, there's a crab people only heavy weapon that isn't the best, especially since I'll have to craft it, which means I'm gonna get like really dodgy quality stuff. Oh, tech hunters, that's fine. Why are you splitting up? All right. You achieved a state of future pizza. Future pizza is the second best thing to now pizza. Which the beauty of it is future pizza means now pizza's on its way. It feels like there should be something there. I don't think there is. That might just be... The game does conveniently create spots for you to build bases. Oh, for the record, I think it's around here. Alright, time to go get messed up by some skeleton bandits. But we got to train, and this is how we train, as we stand here. And we keep doing this until we stop getting beaten up. Alright. Yeah, so they Leon is our newest recruit, so they got knocked down pretty quick. And then K. Christ is right there with them. Got knocked down really quick. That's not surprising. It'll likely be, I was going to say, Draconic and Bentley will probably be the next two. And then most likely it'll be Rual, and I believe Delithia will actually stand up the longest, even though Very Last Lardine has been around longer than Delithia. Just because we've had Very Last Lardine spend a lot more time standing back at the crossbow, Delithia's kind of gotten ahead of them in just like straight on melee combat. But we're getting there. But every time we fight and get knocked down, we're getting a little stronger. Oh, right. I meant to grab sleeping bags. You might drop by one of the tech hunter cities, grab a sleeping bag for everyone in the group. That way, when we do get wrecked like this, we can stop and plunk down some sleeping bags for everyone to rest in between fights so they recover faster. Yeah, so Rual's getting to the point that they could fight for a very long time before they go down. Same with Delithia, honestly. But no money? Oh, right, yeah. I mean, part of that is I've been really spending greedily, and then also not looting bodies for like the 200-300 here and there. That does add up to a lot of money. On the also the plus side, we did manage to knock down a good 4 or 5 of them too. They're winning the fight solidly. But, you know, we got a bunch of them that we had one knocked unconscious here, we had 2 down here. That we are slowly getting to the point. You got 2 of them are limping real bad. We'll get there. We got a lot of new recruits still. Patch everyone up. All right. And everyone will recover, so that's good news. You're extremely underweight. They consider 156 pounds, 6'6", extremely underweight. That seems like a relatively decent weight. We have our crab army. Basically, they were getting so obnoxious to deal with the pathing and to keep them fed, that they've become my home team defense. You should be 193, 210. Okay. I mean, I'm 6'2", and they didn't want me to be nearly that high. Like, nothing wrong with that, like, no judgment. Just surprised. Usually I get quoted a much lower healthy weight kind of thing. Yeah. It's one of those things that, like, weight as a number is not particularly meaningful for me so far as, like, health kind of considerations. Like, there is, you know, how is your cardiovascular doing and that kind of thing is the actual thing. Because they still, well, I mean, BMI is garbage. But yeah, like for me, the number is not a big deal. That's the reason I was surprised. They're like, oh, you know, you should be much, you know, like the statement that you're like well under the weight you should be. It's like, what? Yeah, no, there's a lot of that kind of everyone else has said it beforehand, so you say it as well kind of things, which is not what you want. There's still doctors who are very, you know, oh, you're not feeling well, have you tried just being tougher about it? Have you tried not complaining? It's like, that's not helpful, doc. Those are doctors like, I see this is my last time visiting your practice because clearly you're not qualified. Don't go beat up the scouts, please. Just let them shoot their shots. Keep walking away. They're apparently bad at it. All right. You had a doc start with, you need to lose weight speech before stopping himself. You're underweight. Yeah, I do. Part of me can kind of sympathize with, like, not they shouldn't do that, but like how they get to that point mentally, because there are so many people who they just really, when I say they don't take care of themselves, it's not, they're just overweight, like that kind of thing. So much as just, you know, they like never really go and exercise. They're not healthy so far as like not getting into a weight, but like cardiovascularly, they're just not in a good way. Like all those kind of things. And they probably get so used to seeing the same thing. Because it is one of those things, it's like, so many of us, we have health problems because we sit in our chair all day. Like myself included. That, you know, I do need to get more exercise, and I'm aware of this. My cardiovascular definitely needs to improve. And then you also have, like, people who don't get enough sleep. Not getting enough sleep is freaking horrendous on how many things it affects about your health. And so it's one of those things that they kind of just get so used to going through the same discussion with every other patient that they stop looking at the charts as carefully, because like, why would I look at this carefully when I'm just going to be telling them the same thing I always tell them? Which again is really, really a bad, like, you don't want doctors to fall into that. And it isn't even a doctor's thing. The same thing happens to, like, police officers who've been on the beat for a very long time, is you start to more and more see, like, oh, this person looks innocent enough, but they remind me of the last 10 people who looked innocent enough, and you start, you know, seeing everyone as a problem, and that's when you go, oh, we need to get this person, like, they need to go to a desk job or whatever. Like, they become too jaded and all that, which it's hard, like, and you can understand how they get there. Like, if you see nothing but the worst of society, eventually society starts to look, you know, just universally bad, which you can't do that, because then you look at, you know, the perfectly innocent person, and then immediately turn around and be like, oh, they're probably, you know, some child trafficking, whatever, because just your worldview has been so warped because you're seeing just one slice of the world all the time. But the doctors, they're going to mostly see people are dealing with health issues, because guess what you go when you're not feeling well? You go to the doctor. And there are things that people do inflict to themselves. As you have a friend coworker who is a professional MMA fighter who gets dinged for being overweight per BMI. Yeah, no, it's BMI as a measure. It's kind of like, so we've talked about proxy measures before, where you can't walk up to a person and go, they've got 98 health points. Okay, they're doing pretty good. Like they're on a 98 out of 100 health scale. They're doing really good. Oh, they're at a 50 out of a 100 health scale. They're not doing so good. You can't just like measure someone's healthiness. So instead we measure proxies, and some of those proxies are better and worse. but they're all proxy measurements. They're all effectively guessing this person, or they imply this person's in good health, while not measuring it. So you could check stuff like heart rate. Heart rate can be a good indicator for a lot of things, but it's not foolproof. You can go up to people who are, triathletes and all that, and then we're at rest. Their heart rates are terrifyingly slow most of the time. And it's to a point that, like, for a normal person at that heart rate, that would be deeply concerning, going, oh man, this person's going to have a stroke. And just the same time, you'll have people who do stuff that their heart rate gets elevated, and normally an elevated heart rate is a deep concern. That's a high concern that someone could have heart palpitations or whatever. But there are circumstances and different health conditions that a heart rate that is higher is just normal. Not saying it's necessarily good, bad, or otherwise, but it's just normal. Just the same thing with like blood pressure, with high and low blood pressure. People in incredibly high, good fitness have a tendency to have a much lower blood pressure. But if the blood pressure is too low, that would be a strong warning indicator. But you can't kind of isolate those two things. Just the same with high blood pressure. High blood pressure is generally viewed as really bad because most of the time it is, but there's more nuance with it. The human body is a very complicated system with lots of different nuances and all there. And then we also have stuff where a lot of our measurements have been taken, where the vast majority of people tested are white males. And so then we take the number that we've collected primarily from that and then apply it to, other genders, other backgrounds or races, all that stuff, where what's normal for them is a little different. But we use this baseline that we've collected using was effectively a monoculture, and the numbers just don't work. And it doesn't even have to be like that far. It could even be like if your family has been a different of enough of a background that they can have tendencies towards different things, that they'll have like, you have people who are more stout in build. The numbers for them will be considerably different than someone who is tall and lanky. So just going by height versus weight doesn't really work because you have muscle mass is denser than fat. You also have stuff like, you can have a person who is tall but like frame-wise really broad. They are going to be, generally speaking, a much heavier person. That doesn't mean they're unhealthy. It's just they are of different dimensions that they have to accommodate and all that. And I'm not a doctor or anything. But yeah, so the whole point was just like all the proxy measurements. But yeah, no, it's the same, like you go to almost all like your medical professions, you get kind of the same talks where you go to your doctor and they're like, hey, you need to lose weight, hey, you need to exercise more, hey, you need to eat healthier, hey, you need to make sure you're getting enough sleep. And you're like, yeah, I know you say that because for like 99.9% of your patients, that's probably true. Not even in like a shaming way, but like of the list of those four things that almost every human being in existence, there's going to be at least one of those that we can do better. Like especially the exercise thing. Like finding the time to do that I find very difficult. Oh good. Acid rain. Sucks to be you with no hat or anything. But so it's like, you get it. It's kind of that common advice that's, yes, it's accurate, but also kind of useless. Like, if someone walks up to you and just goes, do better, it's like, thanks, man. I already figured that part, but, like, also, that's easier said than done. Or, anytime you go to the dentist, you'll swear you have flossed and you have done an incredible job and the entire thing. And the dentist will always be like, you need to do better with your flossing. And it's like, what do you mean? Look, man, what do you expect from me? It's like, my teeth are in good shape. I haven't had a cavity in ages. But it's just one of those things that you're just like, I know you showed me to floss. I swear I'm doing the same thing. If I'm not doing good enough, I don't know what I'm missing. Does your major issue is you have anxiety disorder that isn't being effectively managed, and you want me to sleep well and eat healthy and work out? Right. Yeah, it's like, oh, we want you to do all this stuff. Cool. Can you change the way economics work to give me the time to do those things? No? Okay, then get off my back. I'll do what I can. I understand it's not as good as it could be, but like, unless you're going to completely overhaul the way our economics work, yeah, you know what? We're just not really going to have the time to actualize that to the measure that you would want. How badly are you getting blasted by the acid rain? That doesn't seem that bad. I mean, actually, for you, that seems pretty terrible. But that's okay. You know, a little acid rain, I guess, builds character. Not good character, it builds trauma, but I mean, I guess that's character. Because I don't know about you, but walking days and days in literal acid rain that's burning me, I feel like I would be having a negative life experience from that event. That I would have strong opinions about the situation in the waking up in the middle of the night screaming kind of way. What are you? Oh. Where's this outpost we're looking at? Could you stop blasting my eyeballs with lightning, please? Am I at least getting toughness? Nope. Acid does not give you toughness. Acid literally just hurts. No benefit, just pain. Kind of like that lightning is doing to our eyeballs. It doesn't benefit us in any meaningful way. It just makes our eyes unhappy. Why are you going this way when this is clearly the ramp down? There's not a ramp down that way. When they say what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger, that's what we call lying. Why do you not want to cross here? I guess maybe that's not actually clear. Maybe that's supposed to be a ramp, but they just didn't do a good job of it. Alright, well, let's see where their pathing wants to take them. It probably takes them around this way and... No? I really don't know where you're going. There must be a back entrance there that we're not seeing. Yeah, everyone else has good acid rain protection except you. We need to get you inside. You're probably going to go down soon because of collapsing because of the amount of pain you're in from the acid rain. Hey, JD, how's it going? Oh, it looks like that's a goat. I thought it was one of the alpha dogs or whatever. Okay. The Lost Armory, Second Empire. There are 6 actual residents. And the door is open. Kinda wish I hadn't opened the door right there. Let's run them outside. Oh, we get all 6. Keep running them outside. I also can't see because the camera's playing with the hills. They're gonna steamroll us. As long as I walk back inside and don't camp our bodies. I said, and don't camp our bodies. So, I think that's a reload. because their AI is broken and they're just sitting on top of our bodies where we can't recover. We'll just watch ourselves bleed out. Yeah, typical Kenshi. I figured it's probably going to be something like that. I was just hoping it would be we could aggro one, fight it, aggro the next, fight it, aggro the next, fight it, kind of thing. So you just work our way through them. Instead of we opened the door and then all hell broke loose. So try that again. No, all you out. I was really hoping I'd split pull them. Oh my god, please. So good news is they don't seem to be able to get it up. Never mind, there they go. Just trying to split them up. Yeah, I'm thinking that's gonna be a big ol' nope. Yeah. Because that'll be a big ol' nope. Yeah, so we are training a bunch of new recruits and all that stuff, so I can't just go in, because those, the iron crabs, or whatever they're called, those are actually pretty dangerous enemies. They hit an area around them, and they hit hard. So we have our raider group now. We're not depending on all the crabs, is pretty understated. Which is why I broke them away from the crabs, is because they were getting all defense, no offense whatsoever. So they were just really lagging behind. Yeah, we already dealt with that. That's already killed. And that's the skeleton raiders, or whatever they are. Let's go to the ridge. But yeah, so the away team has to train more, because we were bringing all the crabs with us, and the crabs were kind of the same thing. No defense, but they would run up, and we would just kind of attrition the enemy down really fast with just burst damage of just knocking heads against them until they fell down. But the problem is that's not something you could do into endgame, really. It's just not a sustainable approach. We get into another fight, we'll lose this fight, but we'll gain some more stats. Alright. But that's fine. We got new recruits, they've got like no toughness and everything. This is how they get it. Hey Moonwitch and Infinity Simplex, good to see you. Yeah, Rual's almost getting to the point of being able to stand up on stuff. Which this is the thing that'll happen, is we'll have one of our characters will have a tendency to get stronger and stronger ahead of everyone else. Because as you can see, as Rual is gaining more defense and more dodge and all that, Rual can basically stay in a fight longer, even a losing fight. Which does mean they get more time fighting and defending and all that sort of stuff to just keep getting stronger. Which means they have a tendency in a fight to just last longer and longer and longer, more and more and more, versus, you know, the softer characters will go down really fast and need time to recoup. Don't come back right away. That's kind of a jerk move. Oh. I thought they're far enough away with us being behind and we would have actually been able to pull it off. Well, that's what it is. I find it interesting that they left Rual alone that long. Okay. That seems to be the big negative about this particular group, is they do seem to have a tendency to just keep patrolling over the same area again and again, not really affording you much recovery time in between, but that's okay. As long as we have supplies, the risk of death is pretty low. Now, downside is you're knocked unconscious. So, since we need more strength... Oh, your arm's busted. Since we need more strength in our troops, let's go ahead and grab you. We really need to get those beds. Yeah, they're still making the shelves and all that back at home. That's fine. That's just so as we make more and more food, I have a giant place to keep all the surplus. I'm half tempted to try to push through these areas to the areas where we could fight like hungry bandits and stuff like that. So we have stuff more in line with our level, but that puts us farther away from being able to upgrade our armor and all that. Since we are going for the Crab Raider theme. We're just in this early thing, because if you remember when we first started venturing out from the Crab Town itself, how rough that was, we're kind of sort of back in that position, because we got rid of our Crab Guard. Which, those who missed going, why did you get rid of your Crab Guard? It was because the sheer ridiculous amount of food they were eating made it impossible for me to travel very far without stopping everywhere and buying food. And it wasn't even about the money, it was just the inconvenience of having to buy the food out every single time I went someplace. Cool, and we just got all that going, so that's good news. Alright, so we're still waiting on the Dustberry storage, that's fine. Yeah, so what should happen is we should slowly see these shelves just build up with tons of food on them. Alright. One of the reasons I want to get out of that zone is to get away from the acid rain being perpetual. Because till we get some armor on De Leon, standing on that acid rain just tears them down kind of thing. Alright, so you put down De Leon now. Trying to think if there's somewhere nearby here we can go to train. Let's go up towards Ark. Please choose to go the same direction. We can start trying to move them a bit over to the west, I think. Where we can go pick on, like, Dust Bandit, Hungry Bandits, that kind of thing, to train up on. Alright, time to get beaten up and dirt napped again. They Leon went in, didn't get swing their weapon, got knocked down immediately. It always sucks when you're new to the fight. Hey, Luxray, how's it going? Hurting but alive? Yeah. I'm helping. Hey, you're training. That's what it is. That's just how training works in Kenshi. You just get knocked down again and again until you stop getting knocked down as much. Alright. And everyone gets themselves patched up. Alright, you'll need a minute to get back up. Yeah, and they're making the plates as fast as they can. Don't I have someone who's like a dedicated builder now? Yeah, it's you. Why are you operating the machine? Is your inventory full? No. And why are you not building despite having all those iron plates laying there? Yeah, you've got... Why are you not building? Because engineer is one of your higher responsibilities. Do I need to pick up the plates to make you happy? Okay, let's try engineer. Take that off there, put that up here. Pause, unpause construction. Manually have you build it. Oh, you're not waiting on iron, you're waiting on building materials. I understand. I understand what's going on now. I was misreading the situation in a big way. Well, that's a little annoying that I can't actually move those back out of her inventory. I might be able to pop over here and drop off the iron plates. Oh, that's iron ore. Can I drop off the iron plates here? No, you need armor plating. Into the research bench they... Oh, actually, we can't... Yeah, into the research bench they go, just so I don't have them in my inventory. Okay, so we're waiting on the building stuff. That's fine. Those are bounties. Do I still have bounties on me? No, they've all since expired. Alright. You achieved a state of pizza and this happiness. Yeah, no, I was just misreading the whole thing. Who do we have fighting over here? Skeleton Legion and the bats. Yeah, we'll just leave that fight alone. So we'll leave that fight alone. I'm clicking over here. Because the bat should stand 0 chance. Because the Skeleton Legions are like the most difficult enemy in the area for us. Ah, past pizza. I understand. So you got your pizza. It's fine. We'll grind up some stealth XP stats. I really wish everyone wasn't going the exact same direction. I keep expecting them to aggro. All right. Okay. So luckily those are already weakened up, so we don't need to worry too much about them. Alright, meanwhile, while they continue to work there, yeah, so they're all at terrible points in their combat skills and all that. That's fine. Yeah, it's gonna take us a while to catch up on those building materials. We probably want to go out of our way to hit some ruins and all that to see if we can't get ourselves a bunch of regular books. I don't really care about the ancient books as much, not that I would complain about finding them, but just like regular old boring books are the ones I need for like upgrading my industry and all that to not be quite as slow. So there's a skeleton bandit versus a crab person. So that's fine. So let's go ahead and swarm the one skeleton bandit. Assuming they don't get knocked out before we get there, which they did. All right. So let's rally them all together again. And get them back to crossing. Got 2 more fights going on. Skeleton bandit way over there. Alright, it's a group of skeleton bandits beating up on some local wildlife. If we cross paths, we beat them up. Well, we fight them. They beat us up, but we fight them. Yeah, because my thoughts are if we manage to get over here, we head west, I can start picking up on some softer targets to train our people on. Let them work on that while home base starts working up the ability to start making the plate armor that's of better quality for all of our people. Then we can come back, you know, plenty stronger, plenty more able. Should all help. But with this bottom right corner being like just a nasty place in general, it's just taking a while to train because I spend so much time unconscious. I haven't walked into the Ark since the crab people take it over to see if we actually have a store or anything set up there. I would assume we would. But I also never checked. Not that I can afford anything, but just be curious to see if they do have, like, a store, people to recruit here, that kind of thing. No. I think we did go through to check to see what was here. And I'm pretty sure we did ransack this place for what it had at the time. But that's fine. That's about what I expected. We checked Ledge that there was nothing there worthwhile. We can't go up here. This is United Cities territory. They will murder us. Alright. So we'll just keep on moseying on. Yep, don't want it. Going the other way. Keep running to them, and they're like the toughest units down here. We didn't check the old towers, did we? It'd also be a good thing, because if we head west, there'll be less things that we're directly enemies with, so we'll have a bit more mix. Now, granted, like, Holy Nation hates us because Holy Nation hates everybody. Alright, time for another bite. We get beaten the crap in. Maybe. Looks like we actually got away with it. Yeah, it definitely seems like the big enemy we need to be dealing with... Oh, we got both groups. That's fine. The big enemy we need to deal with is going to be the skeleton bandits, because they're just kind of everywhere down here now. They also are a pretty easy one. I'm pretty sure with the skeleton bandits, it's that outpost there is, I'm pretty sure their headquarters. We just need to get strong enough that we can actually fight our way in there. Alright. Just the amount of defense Rual is working themselves up to, and just continuing to gain. But that's where you eventually do work up to characters that can single-handedly handle ridiculous numbers of units, is that kind of thing, where their defense gets so high that they basically just kind of walk in circles until you reach a point that there's an opening, and then, you know, the person manages to sneak an attack in and repeat. Alright. So they are working on building stuff as fast as they can. The issue isn't so much the amount of labor, it's the tech. Alright. You be down for a while? Yes, both of them. Alright, so with that, we will have you pick up... Actually, whose strengths are at 37, 34, 36, 35, 31. Alright, so you grab them. And you grab them. Because I'll need them to recover for a minute. Why didn't you pick that one up? Oh. There we go. And back to trying to cross half the map. Little by little, getting beaten the crap out of one more time after another. Yeah, so many injuries to deal with. Yeah. Skeleton Bandage is wiping out a group of land bats. We got some tech hunters behind us. They're friendly though, so that we don't need to worry about. Okay. We got a land bat over here to deal with. A couple of them, actually. All right. So Delithia should get back up on their own in just a moment, and then we can get on our way. All right. If you're wondering why when you look at this run versus our ones, you're like, man, people by the time they reach like day 100 are usually like completely, you know, their characters are jacked and maxed out. We haven't been doing any of the kind of like mod, I'm not gonna say exploiting like in a bad way, but leaning on like building the weight bench so you can just, you know, right click and say train and they gain a bunch of strength over time. We're not doing any of that kind of stuff. We're keeping it close to vanilla in the way we're approaching it. So that is making it so I don't just like beeline those bypass things. We're not doing any of like the super duper cheesy strats of like having someone getting beaten the crap out of while you're doing first aid on them at the same time, so you can just sit there and take punches to gain toughness against an enemy that doesn't do a lot of other type of damage. Okay, so luckily they turned around. So there are tons of cheesy strats you can use in this game to speed level stuff. Like, very genuinely, you can actually max out stealth in a matter of like 5-10 minutes if you find a particular place with like lots of overhead crossbows and all that kind of stuff. With high perception characters, you can just watch the rate you gain stealth be absolutely absurdly high. But I don't know, to me, if I'm gonna use those strats where I just kind of like cheese the stat to the moon by like just abusing a mechanic, I'm like, all right, well, I might as well just gone in and just manually said, okay, I set the stat to its max. Like, it's fun to go, oh, hey, I figured out a clever way to do this. But like, once you figured out, that's the fun part for me. After that, you'll tend to find I won't cheese stats in my runs very much. Because the same kind of thing that happens with games like Project Zomboid, that like once you start maxing out your stats and you've got like your checklist of things to do and you've marked off most of the checks, that's not kind of when the game begins. It's when it's like, oh, you just walk over most enemies now. And to me, that's when the game stops being as interesting. There's also, like, for me, a reason why when you look at a lot of runs, you kind of start to notice after a while the people who make, like, the big sweeping runs where they're going to kill all, like, the major bounties. That other than, like, the big bounties that are always awful, a lot of, like, those bounties kind of in that middle range. They're just like, killed it, didn't bother recording, it's not interesting, like that kind of thing. You'll get a lot of that feedback, or, oh, I just straight up forgot to record because, you know, it's just such a nothing thing, I just walked in and I killed them real fast. That kind of thing happens a lot. Alright, so everyone can stand on their own now. And we will resume our march. Are they gonna see me, or am I gonna get past? Looks like we're good. Alright, meanwhile... add those two onto the list. And get set and it'll queued up for all those other things. Cool. Just trying to keep them queued up to doing stuff. Congrats on hitting the first month's goal on the Partner Plus program, my dude. Thank you. Yep, we did hit it. We're about halfway through the second month, just a little bit shy, and we're just a little bit shy from hitting the second month thing, which isn't super surprising. If it goes anything like last month, we set at like 60 plus points to like the last week, which at that point I was like absolutely sweating, going, oh man, we're just not gonna make it. But it is one of those things that towards the beginning of the end of months is when you usually get most of like your subs, bits, that kind of support. You know, people who've like gone right before they're about to get their paychecks, they're feeling really comfortable financially, that they're willing to be a little bit more giving, or they just got paid, either way. Or, you know, like the bills came through and they know their quantity and yada yada. That's just generally the ends of the month tends to be when most of the support happens. Alright. More skeleton bandits to beat us up. They turned around last second, which works out for me. We definitely need those bedrolls. Just to speed up the healing between fights, because we end up walking a long time. With a lot of injuries. This group of drifters. But all that said, as we're running around, we are gaining strength and athletics and all that. So continue to pick up speed more and more. So that's 18 miles per hour you're limited to, 16, 17, 14, 17, 12, 7. Because you have a bad leg injury. Makes sense. Yeah, so we've been doing that push, making that happen. Up, here comes the group of land bats. Yep, they're aggroed on us. So, time to get on the defense and ready to fight. Or they'll run past? What? I don't know what they're doing right now. All right. Oh, I was so confused, like, because it was like right lined up with They Leon. I'm like, what? Why? Did you rob me? They Leon didn't have anything to steal, really, I don't think. Okay, that's not gonna stand. They're robbing my people and they're downed. We might not win this fight, but I'm at least going to fight back against them robbing us. I also do appreciate that the land bats are literally ignoring them, and it's just me versus both groups. That's super helpful. We didn't do very well. So they're dead if they're grayed out? They're not dead, they're knocked out. Yeah, so he's robbing Burning Suns. Let's see if he actually takes the food off him or not, or how that works. Don't know. Let's double check, make sure no one's missing any armor or weapons. You were martial arts, so that's fine. We still have a ton of food, so I think we're fine. Get rid of the robbing the people when they're down. Oh, that's just Kenshi. That's just Kenshi in general. Kenshi's always been that way, where you'll have people rob you, you'll have people, like, there's cannibals or everything. Alright, so your recovery coma, so let's pick you up. And get back on to our adventure over that way. Okay. Oh, why are you not moving? Alright. One moment, I didn't see that Bentley got knocked down again. Just have to wait for Bentley to get back up, and then we're good to go. Alright. And we'll just keep working our way over. And as I mentioned plenty of times before, this is literally how you get stronger in Kenshi, is you just keep losing fights until you stop losing them. Like, literally the only way to gain toughness is to get beaten the crap out of. And toughness is one of your main combat stats. You'll just end up getting beat up. That's just how it works. So put Darstrider to use the stove. There. And same with Sad Neil. Cool. An Empire attack is moving towards your outpost. Alright. Let me do an actual proper save here. And the reason I'm doing that is we are going to try and stand and hold our ground without the raider team, because they can't get back in time. So is it had to actually die as opposed to getting knocked out? Sorry for so many questions. This first time I've seen the game. So basically what happens is the way you get knocked out is if any of your body parts, like your main body parts up here, go negative below your toughness rating. So if you see my toughness, it says like health KO at -90 or -49. Basically, if one of these goes to -49, the character gets knocked unconscious. Now, I'm sorry, if it goes negative all, they get knocked unconscious when they get hit again. But if it goes -49, they won't get back up on their own. And then if it goes like negative, it's something like 100 or so, depending on what type of, like what species they are or whatever, then they die. And if they die, they're just gone. There's no resurrection or anything. The character's just, poof, they're a corpse now. So there's that whole bit. But, there's also the danger of, there's stuff that'll knock you down and eat you, which, you know, obviously kills you. But, generally speaking, a lot of stuff will knock you unconscious, steal from you or whatever, and leave you alone. But you do have to be careful of, there are dangerous enemies that'll take advantage and kill you while you're down. So, like, for example, they Leon was at like -28 on their chest, so they got knocked into a coma. And so they'll stay in a coma until their body recovers to be 0 again. And then, you know, it goes up from there. Which they'll just do that naturally as long as they've been bandaged up. I don't have any examples, but if you ever see a character who's got like a little arrow pointing to the left, that means they're bleeding, and that their injury will continue to get worse and worse and worse over time if nothing gets involved to help them. There is some ability to recover from bleeds, but it's pretty minor for most things. Some animals actually have pretty good recovery rates, but not many. That's also why we're moving so slow right now, is Rual's got a pretty busted up leg. Thea has a pretty busted up leg. They'll recover over time and they'll move on. But, well, I've got a couple people here who are well trained. We brought on some new recruits and they suck at everything right now. And so we're helping them be less awful. Which just means running up and getting beaten the crap out of a whole lot. We'll go check the ruined town. I'm pretty sure this ruined town just has junk in it, but we're physically walking past it, so why not? And they, Leon, should be able to get up on their own pretty soon. And Urusei getting their 20 stream streak to 0. And their extra 450 points, saying, slowly getting those numbers back up. That's what happens. Eventually there'll be big numbers again. But thank you again for catching the last 20 streams without missing a single one. That's still a ridiculous thing, so I really do appreciate it. It means a whole heck of a lot. So thank you again for that. Alright, so we'll probably get in here, and right around the same time, they, Leon, will be able to get up on their own. Interestingly enough, there's a cactus farm here in the ruined town. Despite there being, like, no guards or anything. Alright. So put them down. So quick look around. Nothing of value in here. I don't care about the stuff out there. We do have 2 buildings that seem to be intact. Let's go take a quick peek at them. We have a book, I want that. We have a second book. Stuff we don't care about. A blue lantern. Medkit's here soon enough, but we're not quite there yet. But, I feel like that went pretty well, considering we just absolutely obliterated them. All right. So for the moment, I'm just trying to have a couple of the people at least loot the bodies enough to grab a weapon or two, but they're not running around unarmed. Not super worried about, just want the people to not be completely unarmed. There we go. That should do for now. Okay, so they should take care of themselves in the short term. You can probably go and set them all back to doing their normal jobs in the meantime. And that should be okay. Because all the crabs are up and they're all getting bandaged from the looks of it. And of the home team, we got a bunch of people who do have injuries, which they're running around and doing the robotics. It's just taking time. There's not many of them doing it. But we should be okay. Enough that I feel comfortable that they've won that fight. And we can get them back underway. Free settlement. It says it's aligned to the United Cities, but there's no one here. Sure. I mean, I guess if they have no overseeing authority to speak of because that said authority has died, that would technically be free. Alright, yeah, so they're still running around patching everyone up. That's good. Did I have a bunch of extra repair kits in one of these? Yes, I did. Alright. We'll get more people involved in the patching people up. Okay. Because right now, half my people don't have repair kits. I remember there's a mod I used to have a long time ago, but there was a mod that was like, have your characters prepare, and it would just have it so like, hey, always walk around with these things in your inventory. So like, always have a med kit or two, always have a repair kit or two, like that kind of thing. You didn't have to like walk around and be like, all right, please grab these things kind of deal. Oh, I also realized there's a ton of bandages in here, too, I should be grabbing. Alright. Because that's what the bandages are here for, is the bandage people. You're good, that'll do for now. Okay, so everyone should be able to patch each other up now, so that'll be good. Oh, you didn't have stuff. That's fine, that'll do good enough. Alright. So that means everyone's at least able to patch each other up, so we're not waiting on it. But it does mean the home team can, you know, face, like, the normal United Cities raids. Sometimes they'll send, like, bigger raids, but usually you have to do stuff to piss them off enough to get them to do that. Just the constant, like, enemy gets up, knock him down, enemy gets up, knock him down. That's fine. That is all training for the home team. And in between those bouts... Alright. So they did successfully, officially defeat the Empire raid. That's not what you want. One of those is already enough bad news. That's fine. At least they don't eat you after they knock you down. Okay. That's not good to get pinched between them. The worst thing is this one on the right is like 1 or 2 good head hits to being just knocked down. The other one's nowhere close. Alright. Okay. Oh, good. Land bats. Who are apparently very loud. Okay, well, just in case you're like, maybe we can recover from the fight. The good news, like I said, I don't think any of these will stop and eat our corpses. Or eat our downed people alive. So they will just knock us down. Man, I am still surprised. Oh, you have like all of everything is injured badly. You just... Yeah, so none of them will like eat us while we're down. Because that's always the fear, is certain things like bone dogs will sometimes eat you when you're down. Beak things will almost always eat you while you're downed. And like when that happens, you know, you lose a character. Which in this game is severe enough it's worth like save scumming for. It's not like RimWorld where you lose a pawn, you're like, well, that sucks. But, you know, recovering from that state is not the end of the world. But, this one, it can be a huge setback. Oh yeah, now the cannibals in the game will always eat you, the fogmen will always eat you. There is the, there's a group called the Skin Bandits. They don't eat you, but they liberate the skin from your body, which is a fatal process. So they're also one to not get downed nearby you. There's a lot of different groups that when they down you, they will enslave you. They'll take all your equipment and, you know, throw you in shackles and all that. All right. And we're just slowly making our way across the zone. The zone has a lot of like dangerous animals on it, as you've probably figured out from the fact that we keep running into dangerous animals. They keep beating the crap out of us. Such as that one. You're supposed to come in individuals, not groups. Gorillas are solitary creatures, not pack hunters. Stop it. There are rules. All right. Okay. And you're still gonna be out for a while. And you're on your way. Let's check back to make sure everyone at home base got all patched up. Yeah, no one's on the ground dying or anything, so we're good here. Yeah, again, lots of foods on the shelves. Where are you getting the fish from? I know I gave Sad Neil the ability. Somewhere here we have like a fish net that... Oh, I guess they just found like a tiny bit of raw fowl meat and they just went ahead and sold it. Or not sold it, put it in there. That's fine. They're working on... Oh, we got our attack over on our main team. Southern Hive. A bigger member, yeah, they're relatively tough, and I believe they actually keep decent armor on them. The big thing is they're beating us up when we're already beat up, so... Alright, it does sound like Tomb's gonna be home, so right after we get knocked down from this fight, I'm gonna take my quick 5-minute or so break. As the Mechanoids can now serve their bodies of water, looks like the seaside defense strategy has become meaningless. Yup. Alright, so with that said, chat, for those new to the channel, right around 9 o'clock my time, I do take about a 5-minute break, because that is just what I do. It's about the time my wife gets home from work, so I welcome her home. It's also time I make like a bite of food happen and all that good stuff. But I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and we'll keep playing some Kenshi till about 11 o'clock my time, at which point then we have a vote for what we're switching our game to, because I do play 2 games a night. But that's still a couple hours off. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll be back in just a couple minutes. So I do appreciate you being here. Alright, see you in a few.
And now, let's talk about what you've got under there. Holy
Haha! You are impressed by my ceremonial weapons. Each of these weapons have drank their fill of blood in ceremonial combat, or of the blood of those who tried to remove them from me. Did I stutter? The blood of those who tried to remove them from me stains these weapons. Haha! You are indeed brave, little one. Brave and stupid. Let the combat commence! Kapla!
Sure. There we go. It's kind of wiggling to get the trailer to shift, and then turning the wheel straight so I have less resistance. Once I get over this hill, it's going to be so much easier, but we got to get over the hill first. Come on, come on, come on. Oh yeah, no, we already knew we needed a new tractor. I just don't have the money for it. But my hope is that this is the money for it. Oh, I just realized something. How am I going to get onto that plate? If that little incline is too much for us? Because that plate is raised. I mean, I guess we're just going to try and go for it. Momentum! Carry me! Actually, it doesn't look like it's going to be that big a deal. I'm hoping. And we're starting to sell the mushrooms. Oh no. Welp. And I was here a long time earlier today. I guess they call it tow truck. Marcus is gonna get caught one of these times. I think it is actually only 2 or 3 zombies on the outside. The inside, that is sheer terror on the inside. Oh my god. Holy hell. Yeah, I completely retract my statement that I was like, I don't think there's 30,000 zombies in there by the numbers I'm seeing. I'm okay if you're anxious, so long as we don't get anxious. Right now, I don't want to see anxious on our character. We're just going to see if our Nimble 5 will carry us through. Now, our hope is that we actually got the zombies off the car. That's one of the things that irks me is like I do try and keep right, but like, you know, there'll be someone going slow and you'll start passing them and it's just no. Don't worry about it. I should have just taken the wrong turn. I misread my GPS and that was the thing. Engine malfunction. I think that's the first time I've had that. For the record, I actually think that might be the hardest collision I've done in this game so far. Yeah, let's roll the dice. 60% chance that things don't go terribly, 40% chance they do go terribly. Yeah, let's push the button. Boom. They died. Times. Because the graves, check the rightmost grave in the 4th row from the top. The rightmost grave in the 4th row from the top. Okay, so spark arrest. And we want the doctors in here. So we're going to go ahead and have someone deal with that. Should I be dealing with this? Probably not. We're going to go ahead and rebury this person into an actual casket. Alright, so you have spark arrest. You say, sign, spark arrest. There we go. We're going to make sure we honor our people. It's true, thank you. He just, yeah. Wait, what? Okay, we're bitten. We're dead. They got me in the forearm where I'd already had damage to my outfit. So, rip this character. They have perished. Get more involved. I don't want to be here. I missed.
Left again. Keep going. Keep going into the garage.
It moving. Oh, you are too
find
late.
Some Tupperware or hide behind the truck.
Oh, you're
Either
safe.
one.
It's not hunting anymore.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, Pank got away by like
It's hunting.
nothing.
We're by ourselves.
No. I'll just... Okay, and the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna declare a variable. And we're gonna declare that variable of a type integer. And we're gonna set its value to input 1. Don't forget your semicolon. Friends, don't mind me.
And you.
I have been kicked from the server due to malformed packet detected as I'm being grabbed.
Hey, you didn't
That's
get
fortunate.
grabbed.
Alright, well, let's see what happens
I'll check
when...
it in.
I said, we'll see what happens when I come back.
I
I
killed
was
the
just like-
zombie that was grabbing.
Oh, nice. On my screen, I'm like, oh no, I totally did not get that runoff on time. Individual groups or whatever like that. Oh, you legitimately scared the crap out of that. That's the first time I've been gotten with that in a long time. Whoever did that, you were well-timed, probably Cookie. Because this is legit a place that always makes me nervous. And I was looking at chat for a second, and the noise played, and I thought I had just gotten got. It's very rare that I actually get caught by that, and that was like, I'm not afraid to admit when I do get legitimately caught. Well played. Well, here comes the train. I don't think enough time to move, so back it up, 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 back it up. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that's what you want.
And mine to toss alone.
Side quest beach offensive. I need something to trigger. Oh, right. And I am back. Sorry about that. And thank you for the follow and all that stuff. The chibi mascot for the channel is named Marcus. Oh yeah, no, like I don't actually have a name for the mascot or whatever, but it is based off of the before I started streaming, I did a GTRP, which, like, I didn't do it for streaming or whatever. It was actually to practice the improv side, but go improv a bit for my giving presentations and all that speeches. Like, you can do a lot of, you know, making sure you enunciate and practice, like, your presentation and all that in the mirror kind of thing, or with, like, an audience or whatever. But actually practicing, like, improving, like, adapting to unexpected circumstances and all that is something you can only do in unexpected situations. So I was like, all right, well, let me go ahead and do this GTRP thing. It's like the first and only time I've really done a hard RP. I was like, let me use that as a way of, like, practicing improv. And it worked out pretty well. But I ran into a situation where there were individuals in the group of people I was playing GTRP with who couldn't be in the city for like a week or so, but they could be online. And I was like, okay, you know, I can stream if it, like, I can try streaming this if you'd like. I've not streamed before, but I would be down with doing that. And so I ended up streaming it, and it's just one of those things that, like, I streamed it the first time and just kept streaming. And then over time, it went from just a handful of people I was hanging out with in GTRP to, then we started having other people pop in and start showing up, and there just ended up gradually being more and more people who kept popping in. And then the server was only available, I think it was 3 or 4 days a week. I don't remember exactly what it was. So the other days, because I was streaming like literally every day, you know, pandemic was going on and all that, wasn't a whole lot else to do. I would play games like I played RimWorld and Hardspace Shipbreaker and a bunch of other games that I just personally enjoyed. And it's just started being one of those things that was mostly RimWorld at the beginning, that a lot of people outside the group of friends started like really showing up and the numbers started building up. And then, you know, I was also playing Project Zomboid here and there. That was like before Build 41 was announced as coming soon and all that. So I started to build up my name in the Project Zomboid community, which that's really when I was basically just starting Project Zomboid at the beginning back then. But I started to get like well known in that community and whatnot. And then, you know, Build 41 got... Why did you collapse? What? Guessing a sniper bot over here somewhere? Gotcha, so there's a sniper bot. I was like, Rual just collapsed. I'm like, what? Okay, and Rual's on their way. Alright. This goes a hidden stash of candy, but immediately swarmed by ants that are attracted to the sugar. But so we had a bunch of people pop in for that. It was under Project Zomboid that the channel really blew up. Like I believe we made affiliate before Project Zomboid started to blow up. And then it's just kind of one of those things that the numbers like exploded. Just like really kind of exploded on the channel. Was just, like I said, I'd already been building up in the Project Zomboid community. And then Build 41 drop, which put Project Zomboid back on the map for so many people, and like as a category that exploded. It just happened to be extremely well positioned for when that happened. Which wasn't a deliberate plan, it was just, it was a game that had lots of replayability, I was enjoying it, and it happened to also be doing well, so that was cool. Alright, so you're both going to be down for a while. Let's go ahead and pick you up. Alright, well, we'll just get knocked down and all that. But, even at that beginning, though, I've always positioned it as a variety channel. Partly because I know I, as a player, even though I can absolutely pour a couple thousand hours into a game, there's no forever game for me. There's definitely games I will play for a while and then stop and then play for a while and stop that are reoccurring over time that I put thousands of hours in. But there's no game out there that I could put 10, 20, 30,000 hours without taking a break from and still be happy. It's just, you know, everything over time you start to burn out on. So even from the very beginning when Project Zomboid was absolutely exploding, it was 1 day a week that was, like the quote-unquote variety, sorry, I remember now. It was what I was referring to at the time as the A-B strategy. That basically I'd have one game I'd play like 3 or 4 days a week, the other one I'd play 2 3 days a week, and then I had one day that was a dedicated not those two games day. So even from the very beginning, I always went and, was having a variety of games played on the channel. Which is one of the things that was especially frustrating when Project Zomboid's numbers started to decline on the platform, and I started shifting more and more onto, like, just not Project Zomboid. And I was getting, like, lots of people giving me griefs like, oh, like, you'd have, like, a day that Project Zomboid had good numbers and be like, oh, you feel pretty stupid about switching games now, don't you? It's like, man, at no point in time was I ever a Project Zomboid-only streamer. But even then, I don't feel stupid. Because if you look at the category, there's only been about 1 or 2 people who have been able to consistently perform in that. And a big part of what's allowed that to work is, as the category got smaller, we kind of, more and more of us made room, as it were, because we went to do other things, that it consolidated the remaining audience more and more to those handful of people. Which isn't to say anything positive, negative, or otherwise about the individual stayed in Project Zomboid. It's just been a shrinking pond so far as the number of people viewing it and the number of people streaming it. I don't think it's gonna go away and disappear as a category or anything, but it is one of those things that it's kind of a category you can dip your toe into and then get back out of real quick now. But if you're gonna like main it kind of thing, you kind of just really have to go for it. You can't just do a little bit of it kind of thing. Alright. Like, it feels like you either need to do it or don't, is kind of the way I'm saying it. Now, I fully intend to hop back in for build 42. We got some more bolts. And yours is a poor quality, so we're just going to leave it. Build 42 is going to be an increase in popularity. The thing I have warned people about, like, for the people who, have in the past either mained it or whatever, I do think it is going to be one of those things that, yes, there will be a increase in traffic. I don't personally think that increase in traffic is going to bring us back to the right after build 41 amounts. And to explain that, when you look at what we've got going on with those games and all that, you had the addition of multiplayer, and a lot of the systems around that was what we had for our last major update. And that has a tendency to draw more people, both because it's a feature more people seem to be interested in, and that's the time when you would go to your buddy and be like, hey, 1 second. You okay? Yeah. All right. I love you. No, it didn't mute. I just heard something drop. I was making sure Tomb didn't get her, I think. She just dropped her phone. Alright. Yep, now everything's okay. She just dropped her phone. But it's just, I heard the noise of something falling, so I was making sure everything was good. You're not going to sell a lot off... Not going to sell a lot off these dudes? You have no money? No, most of the stuff, like if you looked at the, where I mentioned, you looked at the weapon, it's worth like 100 cats. It's really just not worth it for me to, when I say it's not worth it, I don't have the patience to sit there and do it. That's part of the reason I want to get the base set up, is because of the base I can have what's effectively not a passive income, but a not super duper involved income. Gotcha. Just checking on something that someone was gonna get back to me on. But, I don't want to sit there and have to spend all the time just, like, figuring out... Who are you mauling in here? It looks like a samurai? Oh, it's a United City samurai from their raid. That's fine. So it's one of those things that I can fight with the inventory. It wouldn't be so bad if there was, like, not an auto loot option, but you could say, like, loot priority. We could hit a button and say, hey, please go loot stuff. So it's just one of those things. Strategically, should I? Probably, honestly. I just really don't want to sit there and loot every single body for a fistful of pennies again and again. Look, you need to stop getting up and fighting my crab army. It's interrupting work. And Agnew is making armored plates, so that when we get that bench done. Right, I remember you talking about getting some bedrolls. You sure the crabs have some? Yeah, the crabs do have them. I forgot to grab them before I left, and I don't want to turn back to go get them. I'm just trying to get this group over here. More than likely what'll probably happen is we'll raid one of these ruins, and we'll get a bunch of valuable stuff out of the ruin all at one time. I don't know whose outpost that is. But, once we get all that stuff, we'll be in pretty good order. I don't remember if Leviathans will attack you or not. I thought you had to provoke them. Alright. See if we can't figure out who that belongs to. Still don't know. Alright, you can put them down. Because they're able to walk on their own again. This looks like the kind of place you'd have one of the ninja factions or whatever. Or smugglers in there. A lot of fancy stuff, but I don't see any people at all. All right. We're spending a lot of time face down in the sand? Yep, we are training toughness. That is how toughness works in this game. The way you get better at fighting is just getting knocked down again and again. Hey, Kildrix, how's it going? Did you? Well, we're working every single limb on this thing. But for those who don't know, Kildrix, another fantastic creator on the platform, has played Kenshi, Rimworld, Valheim, I believe, as well. Yeah, Valheim, Nightingale, a whole bunch of games. So if any of that sounds good to you, they're absolutely fantastic. It's one I'd highly recommend checking out. So you've got a little bit to your backup. That's fine. How's the squad looking? Looking pretty good. We've got a couple of new recruits that are figuring it out still, which is why I'm trying to get us out of the southern east corner of the map, because that's where we started. So I'm trying to get this group to kind of be away from there to work themselves up. Oh, good. They finally did finish that. So I think they'll let me start actually having Agnew do armor smithing. Oh no, I need animal... Okay. So crab armor, crab helmet, crab shoes, crab trousers, repeat forever. I was not expecting to require animal shitting. I'm trying to remember where we get that. I mean, obviously off of animals, but I don't remember which animals we do get that from. Look. Away team. Is it strictly crabs? I know crabs can have it, but it would be weird for me to attack the crabs that, you know, are my friends. Probably also false scorpions. False scorpions I could do. I want to say I saw those in Venge. Is there really no people here? Black shifters? I don't know who that is. Do you hate me? There's no one in that building. That's locked. That's locked. I'm pretty sure we don't know anything about them. Yeah, so we're neutral with them, so let's not deliberately piss them off. Did it say how many people are here? It says there's actual residents of 22. Yeah, so we got 2 empty houses, and a bunch were just locked up. Which technically we can actually buy these houses here, which is interesting that you could buy houses in like a little town that has like no one running around in it. So I know we saw the false scorpions in Venge. Not sure where else we could find them. I also don't believe there's like a separate like hostile crab faction, like a separate not crab faction. Like I think there's just crabs. There's not like a bunch of variety of crabs. There's just false scorpion and crabs, I believe. All right. So the problem that gets is we need to train our plate armor a bit before we start burning all of our materials on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start making not crab armor. All right. Basically to train on and all that. Just let Agnew through so I can set this. All right. So I wonder what's like the smallest thing you can make so far as area. So you have rags, so that is yeah, so we can make these. That's fine. Oh yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the new Rimworld one. Oh yeah, absolutely. Kildrix also plays Rimworld. So put that at the highest. And then that next. Alright. Mega 5,600 hours, you're still terrible. Just want to set expectations. That's how Rimworld works. Are you back up? Yeah. Oh, it's chitin. I was like, why is my brain struggling with pronunciation of that? Yeah, just trying to think of where I should go to try and get chitin. Because we're allies with the crab people. And I know I could find false crabs in... Sorry, I can find false crabs in Venge, but there's got to be a better place to actually farm the false crabs. Or false scorpion, or whatever they're called. Just, like, I've never had the desire to farm them before, so I don't know where is a good spot. Might actually look that up. Nothing's happening behind the scenes. False scorpions. Typing in RimWorld. Kenshi. Where do I find the false scorpions? It's not that easy. Okay, let's change this. Animal chitin. All these, it's a universal wasteland thing is what adds it. So it's kind of one of those things that none of them are like, oh, here's a great way to find it. Oh man, I'm gonna have to read a whole bunch into that. Never mind. It's one of the downsides of when you do mods with anything. It's like, alright, you ready to go read into the documentation? Because that's what you're gonna have to do. Okay, well there's a tech hunter location. We haven't been grabbing anything we're selling. Because I've been being lazy about looting because, I don't know. That is one of the things that does get tiresome is like looting every single body you see. Let's head towards Venge. We already cleared out the Tower of Anguish or whatever it is up here. I know I saw a false scorpion on the east end of Venge, so we could try hunting over there. And we can also check out these old towers I haven't done. The Waystation Ruin, we already checked that out. I fully expect we'll look at those old towers. They'll be full of iron spiders, which are not something I could tackle large groups of and survive. Individuals I can handle just fine. But the last couple towers, we walk in the door and the entire building comes pouring out at us, so we haven't had the best luck with that. Because thematically we've been going with being crab raiders, but if the only reliable way to get it is to fight crabs or whatever, that would require me to effectively betray the crab raiders to be able to have the crabs fight us. Which would be a very big twist. Not really the way I want to go with the run. I like the idea that thematically we're sticking with we are crab raiders and we're doing the will of the crab raider. But it's weird that I can't get, you know, crab raider armor without killing the crabs that the crab raiders don't want us to kill. Unless I could buy the material. I didn't actually think to check. We can check that now. Hey, Sad Neil, I got a job for you, buddy. You're gonna turn that off, and you're gonna run to the Throne of Crab, and you go see if they have anything for us over there. We don't have the money for it, but I'd like to see if that's even an option. Got food and meds, except you don't have food or meds, so you're liars. Yeah, I didn't grab anything to sell you. That's fine. That's a running around over here for. We're gonna check these old towers, see what we can find, beat up some robots. Oh, you know what? I think we might have the economy mod turned on where they actually will buy and sell stuff from you, like, and not be absolutely terrible about it. That could always be what we do, is we just start manufacturing food or whatever, put it on our store shelf, and sell it as our not like semi-passive income. Let's see here. So Sad Neil is swimming across the ocean. We can go here and queue up the storage shop counter, I believe is what it would be under. There we go, shop counter. Oh, interestingly enough, they made the shop counter an exterior building in this. Okay. Get a plan to overplan it. Alright, so that's not gonna happen very soon. But it is on the list. Alright. My Kenshi runs always go from we'll be the good guys this time or we are the baddies. I generally are mostly not awful in what I do in the runs. Now it's still it's like Kenshi is like RimWorld, where you go, okay, well, within the universe we are the good people, but good is a very relative term, and we've lowered the bar pretty considerably by comparing ourselves with the rest of the world. You know, some mild kidnapping. You know, and then it's very, okay, these people were like slavers or whatever, and, you know, morally that's definitely wrong, but was rolling into town and murdering everyone. Was that necessarily the solution? But they're both mostly designed that the path of least resistance is exploitation. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. That's, I almost, like, never do cannibalism runs or anything like that anymore in RimWorld. Like, no judgment for people who do. Like, I've done them in the past. But it's kind of once it loses its novelty, you're kind of like, eh. But, then you also realize, like, the game is actually easier when you do those kind of, like, awful things. And so it's like, okay, one of the ways I make the game harder for myself is to try to be, relative to RimWorld, a decent human being. You know, patching up people and letting them go, that kind of thing. It's one of the things I actually really, really, really like. Like, I really like in RimWorld is I like the guilty ideology. Because it really does kind of strong-arm you into being like, you're going to be a nice person. Or else you're going to have mood penalties forever. And it also gives you a bonus for it. So it really is one of those things that you'll be like really off balance in a bad situation. And then suddenly, you know, 11 refugees show up and say, hey, we'd like stuff. You're like, oh. Well, I'm down to pick through the remains of this. Tech Hunters versus Black Ninjas. There's money to be made here. There are very good factions in Kenshi, except for Mage Hunt. Oh, did you mean there's not many? Yeah, no, we've had the discussion here before. It's like there aren't many good people. Like, good is very relative in the Kenshi universe. Like almost everyone is different degrees of bad or bad in different ways. That person's gonna probably pass out soon. That's fine. Yeah, so our weapons are at least worth a little. You probably don't want to do this. Especially since I'm actively disarming your people. Alright. That's actually not even a bad quality. Oh, we should check. Those shirts might be worth something. Eh. It's good enough. Patch each other up. So downside is we checked out this ruined control tower and there's nothing there. So move on to the next control tower. I'm honestly surprised that guy hasn't blacked out. Granted, he's walked into train, so now I can't see him, so I guess he gets to live. But even the tech hunters are a mixed bag as well. Like, there are places that the tech hunters will attack you because you're too close to something they see as significant technology. And that, like, if you are based up in an area that's got tech stuff, the tech hunters will be one of the groups to potentially raid you. Because they kind of see you as, like, squatting on their technology finds and whatever. Now, if you don't do those things, they're relatively chill. They're definitely not one of the worst factions in the game. Like, I definitely find that the tech hunters and the anti-slavers tend to be okay. The nomads are pretty chill. They don't do a whole lot, but they're just trying to kind of mind their own business. Brotherhood of Steel. Yeah, they do have a not quite as bad as Brotherhood of Steel, but kind of along those lines. But like, if you like for example, when I had a base in a past run up here, I think it's like around here or here. I think it's up here in Hidden Forest. I would have the tech hunters show up and they would like, you know, they'd show up and they just want to walk around my base for a little while, and then they come back later and said, hey, you know, you have something like this relic of value, you know, give it to us kind of thing. Alright, so there's supposed to be 13 residents. Oh, scavengers. Okay, it's just scavengers? That should be doable. Especially since they didn't all aggro at once. Okay. You got a little bit of space. All right. So this isn't the greatest matchup, but this isn't too terrible. We've got some people who are way stronger than their people, and some people are a bit on the weaker side versus their people. I do think we'll probably win the day, but I do think some of our weaker pawns are going to go down before this is over. Well, that's... I mean, at least the good news, we have very high harpoon resistance. So most of those harpoons are going to be mostly just stunning effects that we don't want. Yes, it does look like we're winning this fight, little by little. I mean, honestly, even our weaker characters were doing pretty good about it. Be careful about the guy with the bucket hat there. I mean, seems totally fine. Yeah, no, none of them look like an obvious... Like, this isn't a faction headquarters, I think, as far as I can tell. Usually they'll have, like, a throne or some obvious, like, oh, here's the strong one. I mean, this guy's got some serious defense, but... not really that big a deal. So worth a little bit of money, worth a little bit of money. Go ahead and give me those. There's a boss and you came here? Gotcha. Oh, you're 29, take it back. I don't want it. You know, it looks like we've handled this totally fine. Like they Leon got knocked down temporarily, but not to point they couldn't get up on their own. All right. Let's check that barrel real fast. Nope. Let's go up a floor real quick and start scouting around up here. Find our characters, our inventory is not full. So I'm going to stop being stubborn about the looting because I'm going to need the money. All right. They apparently all got back up. All right. I'm basically just grabbing the weapons and that they're worth at least 100. I'd rather not pick up anything that's worth, like... I'd rather it be worth even more, but it's fine. Hey, Zorlot, how's it going? Getting your 40 stream streak, so thanks so much for catching the last 40 streams without missing any. All right. Could you not blind me, please? Stop. Alright, so let's get everyone upstairs and we'll have Rual start popping open all the boxes that... everything we can loot and all that. We also have beds we can lay in and recover for a minute.
Alright, let's bring that beat back.
I don't expect to find too much in here. But you never know. Okay, so top floor is a bust. There's a couple of locked boxes and all that down here. All right. Just casual Leviathan walking by in the background, doing its thing. All right, we'll have to grab the treasure map and someone who's got room and all that. Okay. Don't see a thing on the ground we particularly care about. We have another map. We have another map. Can I just not reach it? Okay. Don't care, don't care. Nope. Nope. And then the last one, now we go and loot all of the stuff here. Alright, so we will have you grab all the stuff because I know you have the space in your inventory. We had a bunch of maps. There's like 4 maps, I believe. So there's 1, 2, I guess it's just 3. That's still fine. Is that right? Yeah, okay. And we stole a whole bunch of maps. Cool. Okay, so it's not what we were really hoping to find in that location, but also not what I'm upset about. We have cleared out the location. That's already dead, so we've kind of wiped out Venge. So go ahead and get the away team heading towards town, because we do have some stuff we could sell with the giant pile of katanas we stole and a bunch of weapons and all that. So I'll give us some stuff to sell to give us some money so we can grab some sleeping bags. Actually, how are you doing? Do you want to use those bags? Yeah, probably fine. Okay, apparently we were wanted by the local authorities there, but I don't know who that is. Okay, we've got all the barrels made. Yeah, so the dustberries... The dustberry farm is maxed out. We just don't have millet for that. That's fine. And you... Oh, you're full. You're not getting processed fast enough is your issue. Which is understandable. We've got all our cooks doing the best they can, and... There's just a lot to be done there. Where did I even put the armor storage? I don't even remember where we put the armor storage. Pretty sure I built some. You need electronics. Did I build some? I guess I'll wait and see. Sooner or later they'll build up somewhere, because it's not in this building. You run inside here real fast, see if we have... Could have sworn we built armor storage somewhere. No, that's bolts. Yep, no idea. I guess let's build some more just in case I don't have any. Storage. Armor storage. Right, they're these. That's the armor storage. Okay, that's fair. And all the stuff we're making is absolute hot garbage right now. because we're terrible at it. But someday, we won't be terrible at it. Sad Neil is over in the town. That's right. Hey Sad Neil, buddy. Why did I have you here? Oh, we're gonna see if they sold the material we need for making the crab armor. They do not have it here. All right. They do carry it here for almost nothing in very small quantities. Which would make making actually good armor of Crab armor very frustrating to deal with, because I would need 4 of those per set of armor or more. And you do not have them. Okay, so we can get it in small quantities. Meanwhile, I don't actually need the small research bench anymore. Because I got the giant one. How would I describe this game? It is an open world RPG, but it's a little difficult to describe in a meaningful capacity past that, because it is it's very different. It's one of those games that, you know, there isn't some main story, or like, you know, you defeat this person and you won the game, or you do this thing and you've won the game. It is a game that they kind of just drop you in the world and you make what you want of it. That has like a bunch of different factions and all that you got to deal with that are kind of all bad, but to all varying degrees and all that. Like you can weirdly play it like it is a base builder like RimWorld. You can play it, you know, kind of a game where you go diving through ruins for materials. You can go into trade, which is a little bit more difficult, but you can do that kind of thing. The game really does give you flexibility to play it in many different ways, of which all are kind of viable. But it does make it very difficult to describe what type of game it is, just from the standpoint that you can do so many different things with it that in a lot of ways would normally be like, okay, well, what about this other thing? And it just feels like it's a game that's a bunch of games in one kind of thing. It is a very janky game, like a very janky game, just to warn in advance. A lot of stuff in this game does have a tendency to behave in unexpected ways. And it can be annoying at times where you'll put someone down and you'll launch them into orbit and go, well, that person's dead, because now I won't be able to reach their body in time to bandage them. Alright, so put a bunch of food and all that in there. That does mean I need to change my base to being open to the public now, so that we can have trade caravans and all that roll through to start doing business with us. But the hope would be that now I can sell that stuff, and as Agnew gets better at making armor, then, you know, we would have some income from that. And hopefully get that sorted before too terribly long. Alright. But it is one of those games that's just this giant world with so much to be discovered and found that you can play the game for hundreds and hundreds of hours and realize there's an entire faction in the game that you've been blissfully unaware of. Or like, you know, you look at the map here, and if we look... Where is that? I can't actually see it from here. Is there a place I could see one of the buildings from around here? It's probably Stobes over there. Yeah, so that mountain range way out in the distance is this one down here, I believe. So you look at the map and go, okay, you know, that's a sizable area. We can see we can go down here. There's this like valley here. It goes on for ways. It eventually builds up there. But then we start zooming out. And again, we're talking from here to here. And we keep zooming out. And that's just like one small section of the map. The map is absolutely ridiculously large. And while it's a meme that it's all sand, it's also kind of unfair because the world does have so much variety to it. It's just varieties of sand in a lot of places. There's lots of desert-like places in the map, but it is huge that each group, like each part of the map has like its own factions in it. Now there are parts of the map in vanilla that are kind of not a whole lot happening in them, but then there's a lot of parts of the map that do actually have a considerable amount going on. Could you move, please? Thank you. But it is just a game that has a lot of things. If you ever played like the old Ultima Online and those kind of games, progression on your characters kind of feels like that. You literally have no money. You're a really bad trade person. You know that? I feel like at the minimum, if you're going to be a merchant, you have to have cash. Why are you going the other way? You're probably just bad at swimming, kind of thing. Hey, Tessa, how's it going? There you go. But, it is those things. It's kind of like RimWorld in the sense that the world is kind of a crappy, awful place. There is cannibalism, there's slavery, there's all sorts of awful things happening in the world of Kenshi. And that's actually, I'd say probably the most common playthrough for especially newer players is to start a run as a slave with the intent of like taking down like slavery in the world. As a very common start people will do just because, you know, it's one of those ones that's like very straightforward. There's one of the factions called the Holy Nation, which are pretty awful. They tend to be like one of the #1 people that people tend to go after. Just because they're pretty awful. But it is a game that you make of what your own is, that the win condition for the game is you decide what you wanted to accomplish and you do that thing. And then, you know, you've won when you've done the thing as far as you're concerned. But there's nothing formal about it. It's like Project Zomboid. The way you win Project Zomboid, you say, you know what, this run I want to survive 6 months. And once you survive 6 months, you've won the run, even if you do ultimately die in the long run. Now granted, this isn't designed to be played like Project Zomboid, where you play for a little while, you die, and you start over. Especially with the jank in this game and how long it takes to build up your characters, this is the kind of game that save scumming is pretty much a requirement for the game. To, you know, engage in a fight, get decimated and die and go, yeah, we're just gonna reload and that didn't happen. You can do like permadeath hardcore runs in this if you want. I would strongly discourage it. It's just the kind of game where everything can go fine, and you'll have, like, beak things are a fairly dangerous enemy in the early to mid game. And you'll be in an area that they shouldn't be, and just see a group of 3 beak things come flying out of nowhere because some other group happened to pull them into the territory. And you just get wrecked. You do permadeath and it's miserable. Oh my god, I can't imagine with how long it takes you. Unless you're cheese leveling your stats, I can't imagine how devastating it would be to lose a character mid to late run. You know, where you've sat there and you've ground up their combat skills to be in like the 70s and 80s, and then you have one of your characters die and you're like, you know what? I don't want to play it anymore today. I think we're going to take it a few days off. I think we're going to go do something else for a while. Accidentally stealth at a store and it's all-out war. Oh, yeah. Or you just misclick and you accidentally attack someone or whatever when you meant to do something else. You stopped doing hardcore in Diablo 2. Let's see, permadeath is only possible if you play super cautious and grinding. Yeah, and that's exactly what you'd have to do. Crossbows are your friend for permadeath? Yeah. No, if you're going out of your way to, when I say cheese, I don't mean this in a negative light, by the way. you're willing to be like, all right, we are going to abuse any and every mechanic we can find. Oh, you're animal trader. I don't want that. We've already got enough crabs to cover our animal needs. Like, if you're willing to do the type of playthrough, you're like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna stay. You know, we're just gonna stay here in our nice little home. We're gonna repair the hub, and we're gonna live out of here, and just, you know, play it as safe as we possibly can. And we only start venturing forth once we start getting ourselves to like 40, 50, 60 stats and all that. You could definitely make it safer. I feel like Kenshi is one of those games, though, that there's always the risk of just unexpected bad things happening. It always feels like you almost want to keep one person out of the fight. Yeah, stay in the forest killing boars like South Park, pretty much. But I almost feel like the strategy would be keep one person like hiding off in the hills when everyone else is fighting. So that way when the fight is over, you can just run them down and go that. Anything that ducks or eat you is terrifying and hardcore. Oh yeah. Like, this whole corner of the map down here, I wouldn't want to hardcore in. And this area of the map up here is a bad time, and that area of the map is a bad time, and where are you at? And this area is a bad time, and this area is a bad time. Most of that's a bad time. But we're not going to the cannibal capital to get Bob back. Rip. That's where you have, like... That's like, where you have the one person who's got, like, 80, 90, Is there only NPCs enemies? Yeah, no, this is a single-player game. Like, there's animals and all that, if that's what you're asking. But it is not a multiplayer, player versus player. Like, this isn't an MMO or anything like that. So take all of these weapons... that I lifted. Alright. So, one of our people had a bad limb. That's right. You had a shoddy limb. Oh, we're not going to be able to do better. Because that's what was available at the time. So we've got a little bit of money. We can add... Was there someone without a backpack? No, it was our team back home that didn't have backpacks. Now I can grab a bunch more of the research books and burn all of my cash. And we can do that to advance the rate we can do our research. Because we're low on that stuff. And I just remembered I was going to go buy the beds, but I already spent all my money. Alright. They're kind of grabbing a bunch of research for our other people and making their way back. Now, we are noticing that we are picking up a bit more speed as time's going on. Where beforehand, we were only moving like 8 miles per hour because of all the heavy plate armor. We are picking up our speed, we're picking up strength. Our combat abilities are getting better, like Rual's defense is at 61 and their attack would be 55 except for the plate armor. Their dexterity would be 48, but again, the plate armor. Their dodge would be 26, but plate armor, you get the idea. Which is part of the reason I want to be making the better plate armor, is we are trying to make that happen. The big thing I gotta figure out is how I'm going to get the chitin. Which is the thing with the Universal Wastelanders mod. So it's not part of vanilla. And we know we can get off the crabs. But I don't know if there's other sources out there that we've got to figure out. Now, obviously, it's going to come from animals. But there's not many animals I could think of that I would say have armor or chitin or whatever. Because I don't know if the bugs could have it, like the spiders. You love UWE, but it adds some tedious factions. I haven't played enough of it. It is one of those things that every once in a while, like, you go into a lot of it, and then you kind of sit there and go, you know what, I kind of... You know, it's always they add a whole bunch of stuff and all that. You thought only Leviathans had chitin? I have no idea. It's a new thing from this mod, so I have no idea where you normally find it. I know I can buy a like singular unit of chitin. It's inexpensive, and I have found a bunch. But I want to say we found the chitin on I wonder about the crabs, because we haven't been looting crabs. What did we found? Maybe it was the horrors? Never mind, you're talking vanilla. What's the mod? Universal Wastelands expansion. If you look up Animal Chitin Kenshi, it'll probably be the only place it comes up. It's for making the crab armor. And probably other armor, but the crab armor is the one I'm aware of. Scorpions and crabs, that's literally it. That's a bummer. Because I don't know where you find... Like, the only place I found scorpions is up here. Now, I do know the unwanted... Sorry, the unwanted zone. Like, its whole gimmick is almost every single animal in existence shows up there. All right. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting because I don't know a good source for the scorpions. And then the crabs are my friends, which gets weird because, like, I'm assuming if I start killing crabs, it'll piss off the crab raiders. And thematically, the whole intent is that we are crab raiders. And there isn't a concept like your crabs dying of natural causes or old age. Yeah, no, chitin's not new for a lot of RPGs and that kind of stuff. The idea of having, like, bug shells for armor and all that as a strong armor has been in a lot of games. Because it also makes sense to have, like, this super powerful bug that's got, like, this really, really strong carapace that you can make, like, chitin armor out of. Oh, come on. It's like, alright, we're gonna go ahead and win this fight. Oh, look. Yeah, the only references you're getting are crabs and scorpions. Yeah, and the false scorpions in this game are crabs. They're just crabs of a different name. This has been my luck in this zone, is every time we're like, alright, we're starting to win a fight, and then just in comes the wave of land bats. 2 full groups of land bats just roll in and be like, you're not winning any fights. It's not allowed. Strictly forbidden. The good news is, they don't eat you. So sneak. Start medicaling everyone back up. Yeah, so I'm trying to think, like I said, it might just be that I have to deliberately let myself become like enemies of the crab people so I can just you know, start attacking crabs kind of unprovoked kind of thing. You know, just ruin our reputation with the crab raiders and fight them. We could treat it as, like, thematically that we're the true crab raiders and, like, the queen has fallen from grace or whatever. She's aligned herself with, like, enemies to the crabs, or I don't know. It's a little bit of a bummer, though, because with reactive worlds and all that, we can actually cause the crab raiders to take more territory. Alright. They're patching everyone up and going to it. Okay, so Rual will be up in a moment, and they Leon is knocked out again. Oh, your arm's busted, so you probably can't pick him up. Okay. Just waiting a second for Rual to get back up. There we go. And now we go from when we were traveling at a nice, comfortable speed to get us where we want to go, to now we go real slow. That is our existence. That is our pain. Alright. And you're making lots of food. I do wonder if we'll get, like, any meaningful trade care. Oh, you still... Oh, you bugged out on the way home, didn't you? That's fine. Definitely regret building my base on that island, by the way. Just because of how often I have to, like, reset the pathing again and again because they're just not willing to cross it normally. Okay, Hawk. No idea for you. But, thank you for checking it out over there on that end as well. Because as a reminder for people, I do stream on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok, so if you ever had time where one of those platforms is just not working, the other platforms are always available. I mean, you're at least gaining a decent amount of toughness pretty quick, for what it's worth. So whose leg's all busted up right now? Alright. If I ever were to do, like, a permadeath hardcore run of this, I think one of the things that would really get me is fast forwarding of any capacity is really dangerous. All right. It's weird that we had like 2-3 trickle in one by one. And then because we're all injured, we got beat up pretty easily. All right. We'll get there eventually. Sneak, medical. All right, so scooch everyone over here.
Thank you Electric Pixel Engineering for subscribing for 3 months. What is going on?
Hey, Electric Pixel Engineering, good to see you. You've been, tier 1 sub. So I really do appreciate you doing the tier 1 sub here. That's 3 months you've been subbed to the channel, so thank you so much for that continued support. It does mean a whole heck of a lot. But, not a whole lot. Playing some Kenshi. Why are you... Oh, you're crawling. I understand. Just playing some Kenshi and all that stuff. College wrecked you recently? Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so you should be getting up in a moment. And then we can get on our way. Alright. So we'll get back towards heading towards the Ark, because that's friendly territory. But yeah, so just been doing some Kenshi recently, as well as, you know, RimWorld, Farming Simulator 22. Okay, Chris is down. Are you... Oh. I was curious why you're down so long. Well, never mind. It's just gonna be a slow grind for stats. Had some stuff with MATLAB, if you know it. Yeah, I know MATLAB. I don't miss MATLAB. Alright. I would actually imagine probably quite a few. Probably more than you would want to still be using MATLAB. There's a lot of curriculum that just sadly does not get updated on any meaningful time scale. That's not an unusual thing, because getting your courses updated, all that, usually requires an expenditure on equipment. And it's almost always a fight to get those resources. Yeah, I've got people trying to sneak around and doing a bit of bandaging while everything's going on. Kind of forcing into a bunch of one-on-one fights with the animals. That'll prevent us having a lot of people getting the extra ones. Let's see, your specialty is electrical engineer, which heavily uses MATLAB. Yep. Oh, am I playing that specific drive game today? Don't know yet. Usually what ends up happening is around 11 p.m. my time is I will put up a poll with a bunch of different games. And then, you know, it's whatever wins the poll. So, if people vote for some Pacific Drive, we do Pacific Drive. If people don't vote for some Pacific Drive, we don't do Pacific Drive. So there's that whole thing. I'm kind of stuck on the fence right now, because for those who didn't see, they announced the new RimWorld DLC is coming out in a couple of weeks. So there's that. But they made available today version 1.5 of RimWorld, the next major update. So I've been like backing off of RimWorld as like being played all the time because it's kind of burning people out on it. And so we were saying, all right, only one stream of it a week. But now 1.5 dropped, and it's like, I don't know what I want to do with this. Because on one hand, it's a good time to play RimWorld. On the other hand, I want to make sure I give people enough time away from RimWorld that when the DLC drops, you know, I can play a decent amount of RimWorld and not really burn people out. And it's kind of put me in an awkward position where it's just, you're kind of head scratching going, what is the thing I should be doing with this? Alright, so it's going to take us a minute before everyone's back up. Are you home yet? Almost. So Agnew should be getting a lot of armor
Thank you,
smithing.
Burn and Sun 1, for subscribing for 26 months. So this is a sub-anniversary announcement, but not a sub-renewal since I upgraded my sub late last month. The reset won't happen for another few weeks. So don't count this to your plus points. Rules trip, rules trip, rules trip.
Thank you, Burning Sub, for the tier 3 sub. That's 26 months you've been subbed to the channel, so I really do appreciate that. It does mean a whole heck of a lot. Yeah, and that's why I figure why we're getting our numbers were like really kind of not right with the plus points is exactly that, where people sub for multiple months and it's letting you say, hey, I'm resubbed way earlier, even though it happens way later. And so what I'm guessing will happen is once we get to the point where the sub would actually renew is when the points are cut. That's the reason I'm not stressed over it, but it's also those things like, man, I wish they'd show it. But thank you for that. And kicking off a hype train, putting us on a level 2 hype train, so I appreciate that. So thank you so much for that. We'll get the Legos going here in a minute. For those who don't know, every time I get a sub or 100 biddies, that I get a Lego piece added to the kit. Your cheer badge went away. I can't remember if the cheer badges are like based on only showing, you know, within a certain time frame of when you did the cheering. Like, I don't remember how that works. You still have it? It's just hidden? Gotcha. I was gonna say, I thought those were forever. Because there's people who have, like, not with this channel, I've seen people have, like, hundreds and thousands of, you know, bit badges. But it's weird because technically you only subbed to tier 3 for 1 month, which was announced when you subbed. I don't know why it is the way it is. This is just an anniversary announcement, so it means nothing towards your pay. Yeah. Right, it'll be later in the month that it actually takes hold, kind of thing. That, you know, it would count towards revenue, slash the plus points, slash all the things. We're getting some real good training going on right here. Alright, we lost a leg. It's a right leg. So let's jump back home. I have a leg here somewhere, but what side is it?
Yay. Something, 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 dark side. Something, 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 complete.
Yeah, the whole thing is messed up. Yeah, no, we'll see what ends up happening with it. But thank you so much for those 100 biddies, Senji Cookie, going something, something dark side. Just as you do. Alright. Sneak. Medical. Yeah, so unfortunately, K-Chris is going to have to get carried home. They lost a leg. Twitch's messes with the badges, not sure why. You can display it, just click on the bottom left of chat input and you can customize it over there. Yeah, and I've had I've seen a few people have like their partner badge disappear just because, or like their sub badge, like different things disappear. Alright, so you're in recovery coma as well. And you're in recovery coma. Okay, we're apparently right back to fighting. The worst thing is it's never even the same land bats. It's like literally we're getting a fresh group every time. So it's not even that I'm like wearing them down. We're just getting a brand new group patrolling through us to kick the crap out of us again and again. All right. Next Lego stream when? So I do the Legos as we go. So it's not like I do a Lego. I mean, I would do a Lego stream if, for example, we had just the one day where we had people like dropped, you know, 300 Legos worth of stuff. Like I'd obviously do Lego for that. But so with that, we had, for example, 2 gifted subs and 100 bits, so that's 3 Lego pieces. So we've got that going on. Did I owe ones before that, by the way? So we got Burning Sun, we got that one, so there's the 2. No, that's it for today. Sorry about the game zooming out, even though I'm not clicked on focus on the game, it's showing that as well. For those who missed what's going on here, for every sub and 100 or sub or 100 100 bits you do, we add Lego pieces together. Well, actually, so this will be one of the two, or one of the 3 IO. Will be here. And I don't have the other one staged quite yet. Do you already hook on here? Yes, you do. Hook on there. But still one piece so far. And I'll grab one of you. The 2 of you. 1 of you. And so then we've got 2, 3. Alright. Has anyone seen the new Dune movie? I have not. Alright. Yeah, so we just got that going on. But I have been debating heavily what I want to do when it comes to RimWorld. Yeah, and K-Christ isn't down, it's just they have no legs, so they can't really do a whole lot. Waiting for the last one to release so you can watch all 3 in a row? That's fair. There's another one just patrolling ours, like, in case you're thinking about getting up. I got another round. Oh, and a gorilla. We have apparently found, like, the major highway for the various animals rolling through the territory. Alright, so. Leon. Go ahead and get K-Christ. Bentley, go grab Burn and Sun. And we are on the move. It'll make it about 10 feet before our next encounter. And then we'll do it all over again and get a little bit stronger, a little bit better at fighting, a little bit better defense. Someday we'll actually be strong enough to not get absolutely obliterated into the dirt. How are we doing on food? Not good. Really, really terrible, in fact, actually. That might genuinely be a problem. Because none of my other people... Well, actually, at this point, they probably have decent athletics. But none of them are particularly great at getting around kind of thing. We'll have to deal with that. So, K-Chris is down for a long time because her leg is gone. And Burning Sun is down for a little while because they got hurt. Yeah, Draconic is the one slowing people down other than being unconscious from injured legs. The good news is we're almost across this zone. Once we get out here, the number of attacks we'll run into will die down a lot. We're actually probably going to get pretty... Let's not deal with the skeleton legions if we don't need to. No, don't stop turning around. Give me the arc. Eat the slowest member. Yeah, that's not a mechanic in this game, so that doesn't work. Alright, meanwhile, we can look at Agnew. You should be getting a decent amount of armor smithing. You are, so that's good news. So yeah, so we're still at armor quality prototype. Versus, it'll start really, really helping us out when we're at armor quality standard or higher. Because that means we'll start being able to replace some of the pieces of equipment I have right now with the improved equipment. Okay, it looks like the legs are getting better because we're starting to pick up the pace. And then Burning Sun should be up and able to run on their own soon. Don't worry about the sky lasers. It's probably fine. I didn't even realize we had another attack on the way. Okay, grab everyone. Jobs. Rally in the middle. And you'll just need to do your thing for a minute. I'll check in to see the updates as it goes along. Once Burning Sun is off the shoulders, we will go check in on that. Alright, so not surprising. Absolute pandemonium going on over here. It's pretty much what we expect, but that's fine. We beat the last 2 times they attacked us pretty readily with our sheer number of crabs running around doing the crab things. Yeah, it looks like it's going relatively well. We've got a bunch of our lower experienced people staying down, but that's fine. Alright, so same deal. You keep moving. I do need you to actually arrive because you are on limited food, so you'll start getting real hungry soon. Alright. Oh, you're unconscious, I understand. Yeah, so got some people who are pretty badly injured here, but that'll be okay. There's one problem. They've got crabs stuck inside, who will literally starve to death trying to get out. Alright. Yeah, so Bentley's getting their legs better. That seems to be the major holdup at the moment. Yeah, so everyone's medicing and doing the robotics and all that stuff. Anyone else still here unarmed? You, let's find one of them knocked out. Basically, like, let's arm everyone. Doesn't matter if it's good, let's keep them getting some weapon skill going on. Okay, meanwhile, we'll set them all back to have their jobs turned back on. So that as they're able, they'll get back to work. For some reason, Twitch liked to highlight the unfollow button for you. That's so rude. Alright. Okay, and we've officially defeated the attack. So crossing this zone with no food left between everyone here is a problem, especially since being Czech, they're gonna get Leon's gonna get hungry real fast. We will start having people who will like occasionally pass out from hunger kind of thing. So I do need to get them back home. We got tons and tons and tons of food back home. It's mostly it takes us like literally an in-game week to get anywhere, because we can't stealth past stuff, and we're not particularly fast moving because of all the plate armor we're still training to be able to use. And I'm gonna try and do Dragon Dogma 2? Probably not. I've heard nothing but good things, but that was just never one of those ones I got into. It's one of those games that's like, I always go, wait, did I play the first one? And scratch my head and be like, I don't know. And I genuinely don't know. Like, I vaguely don't remember if I did or did not play the first one. Hey, She-Wolf, how's it going? It's also one of those things that there's just so many games coming out that's like, I have to draw some lines somewhere on what I will and won't be playing. And because it's one that doesn't immediately grab my attention, it's like, oh yeah, that's one I definitely am going to be playing. It's like, okay, that's probably going to fall between the cracks. Someone wiped out one of the crab nests? No. You excited about the new DLC and 1.5 patch? Yes. As well as Stardew Valley's 1.6 patch, and man, there was like 2 or 3 games that are also releasing around that time frame that I keep forgetting for I don't know what reason. My brain just can't handle too many. But it definitely feels like right now, so much stuff is dropping so fast, I don't even know what to do with it. The Command & Conquer series came to Steam. That was a big surprise for me. You talking about like the original, like EA just adding it? It's been a whole thing that EA has been kind of abandoning the Origin thing and then moving its stuff over. Well, I have extremely fond memories of, like, you know, the Command & Conquer series. I've already bought them before in the past. I'm not one to buy a game I owned 10, 20 years ago and be like, let me do that, because, I don't know, it bothers me as, like, being a nostalgia grab. I am glad they're available for people who, you know, their CD stopped working or broke or they missed out on it and always wanted to check it out. Like, I'm glad for that. But for me, I've never been the kind of person who, you know, wants to revisit the game I played 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago for more than, like, a little bit. Like, I'll pop in and be like, I remember having fond memories of this game. And you go, man, there were a lot of quality of life things that we have made better in this genre since then. It is real hard not to miss those immediately upon playing it. That's what happened to me when we did, Story of Seasons. What used to be known as Harvest Moon. We got a hold of the key for Story of Seasons. Like, I remember loving this style of game. Man, I am just missing all of the quality of life stuff that's just standard in this genre now, that I actually can't really get into the game because I'm immediately being frustrated about it. I need you to not suck at pathing for a minute because you're running out of food, please. I know it's asking a lot of you, Kenshi, because pathing is like the bane of your existence. But I need you to cooperate with pathing for me for a little bit here. Because everyone's starting to get down to the point where they get to like the 200s, where I can't remember exact. I think it's when they go below 200, they'll start passing out on occasion. You know, so there was a time when you went through a lot of older games, you enjoyed it then, but some games have not aged at all well. Oh yeah. And that was the one I've talked about this before, the one that I remember having such fond memories for and went back to play was Perfect Dark. Man, that game is hard to even look at now. Like, you play it for any length and your whole face is just tears the entire way around. It's like, man, how did I ever play that? If it's a thought in the Skyrim, it's probably a mod. I mean, except I almost never mod Skyrim, so if I think about it being in Skyrim, it's not going to be a mod because I don't even other than when I did the one stream where we turned on the like AI NPC to just kind of goof off with that. I think that's literally the only time I've modded Skyrim. Because I'm just not the kind of person who mods my game much. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Skyrim. Like, I really did enjoy Skyrim a lot. I don't have that passion for Skyrim that so many people do. Because it was definitely one of those things that I definitely felt like you would go into, like, after a couple of caves, and then other than, like, the big story caves, it really did feel like you were just going through the motions of the same cave over and over again. And it got to the point that, like, the dragons became so trivialized to the point it got to be a little bit obnoxious. And it also felt like one of those games that they just really didn't care much about looking at the different play styles. So there was like only 2 or 3 playstyles that in vanilla felt good, which was stealth archer, and then you could do like the magic stuff you could abuse pretty badly. But the game felt pretty terrible as a melee fighter. So there was a number of times I started to save in Skyrim. I was like, this one's gonna be different. We're gonna do something different. You know, I'm gonna go and do melee this time. Just like do like the big 2-hander melee person, and I get like 5 seconds into it, and immediately be like, oh. I'm just, like, you'd somehow find yourself stealth archering again because there was so many things mechanically didn't work well that it just felt frustrating to do anything else. Skyrim was a generational thing. If you never actually played an RPG before, it was great. It was mostly mediocre otherwise. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I played Oblivion, I played, like, Fallout 1 and 2 and Tactics, and I played, like, you know, the Final Fantasy games and Final Fantasy Tactics. I played, like, the old Dungeons and Dragons, like Dark Sun and all those back in the day. Yeah. But to me, it's always one of those things. People know that my stance with that is like, hey, if you need a mod to fix your game, then to me, your game failed. Like, you can't depend on the mods to carry your game. Mods should add to the game, not make it not be the thing that makes it enjoyable at all. Which, don't get me wrong, I had fun with Skyrim. I don't want to imply that like Skyrim was some like broken, terrible game that I couldn't enjoy or anything like that. But it's just kind of one of those things that, like, I enjoyed it. I played through it. I did one of the because you have, like, you can side with the Nords or the Empire or whatever. I don't even remember which way I went with it. Probably went to the Empire. And I played through the first time that way. And I always intended on doing a second playthrough. I went the other way. But I just never got through it. It's just not one of those things I could make happen. I wanted to, it just actually actualizing it. Racism direct or racism indirect? Yeah, it's like neither side did you feel like rooting for. Marwin? There's no substantial difference between the two quest lines and outcomes? Yeah. But as well as things that, like, most games that have those like, what's supposed to be a meaningful decision, I would like to go with the 2 different routes for it. So, you know, like, when you play games like the, what is it? I'm blanking on it. Space game. Where I believe the ship was named the Normandy, with Commander Shepard. Mass Effect. Jeez. My brain was having such a struggle. Mass Effect. Like, I would do the Renegade and the Paragon runs and all that. I kind of found over the years I had difficulty enjoying those games as much. because it's kind of like a lot of the evil runs in those games were so silly that you could kind of like have that detachment from reality. But then some of those games started kind of moving to try and make it more believable, more real. They want to be grittier. And I'm like, this isn't fun now. I don't want to play a game and the whole time feel awful about what I'm doing in the game because I want to see the other ending. Like, that was, for the record, I think Undertale is an absolute masterpiece of a game to enjoy. But it is one of those things that when you do what's referred to as the genocide run, where you kill literally everyone in the game just about, that is one of those ones where you're playing through, it's like, this feels terrible. I hate this. I also love, like, all the depth and everything they have in it, but I hate this. This feels awful. Overlord is a funny old game. Oh yeah, like there's also what is the one, like Mastermind or whatever it is? No, it's not Mastermind. What is the name of that one? Where you play as like a 50s or 60s supervillain. And they have like James Bond a character. Oh, Evil Genius. That's the one. And that's like one of those ones that's like fun to be evil because it's like so silly and over the top and cliche and all that it's really enjoyable. Versus, like, so many games are trying to be, like, as gritty and dark and all that, where, you don't just, like, oh, you're beating up the good guys, ha ha ha, but they got away. Like, it's, like, actively being a funny but kind of scary character versus, oh, you're just unhinged. I see. You're not interesting or compelling anymore. You're just volatile. Alright, well, fine. I guess this is what this series is now. Which, for the record, they did seem to back away from a lot. So I think they got that feedback of just everyone being like, yo, I'm kinda... They took a poll and the people voted to kill Robin. Probably. I assume it was an internet poll. Because that feels like an internet poll kind of thing. Yeah, so they're doing that thing where they don't actually build this part of the base because it's too far away. I'm wondering if I can make corrective action here. Where I can go... Oh, I can make tier 5 walls. Let's start with the, Can I not choose something in between those two? I would... Here, we'll try it this way. I will add a defensive gate. Look, I'm going to want to upgrade to those. I don't have the materials to upgrade to those yet. So I'm hoping is I can put a wall here. It looks very jank, we'll see what happens. So that it's close enough that they'll build it. This is before the internet? Oh, yeah. No, there was people who found Robin obnoxious. And even pre-internet, you did still have people who like to troll. Trolling is nothing new. It's the effectiveness of trolls being able to reach their intended audiences. That has accelerated a great deal. But yeah, so it looks like this might be just too far out here for them to wall it off. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this right across this area and get that going. So it does look like our away team is going to get back here in time to eat. They're all starving now, which will start giving them all sorts of penalties. Did it really have that many of those laying around that you were able to just spot lift defense up there? All right. So if Rual go ahead, because I believe Rual has the books. They do. We can drop off all our research. And then it's going to be right around... We're actually a little bit over time to get our game switch. So while we're actually swimming back over here, I'm going to go ahead and get the poll going. For those who don't know in this channel, I do usually have about halfway through stream, I do a poll for what game we're switching to. And that's just pretty normal. So what are we doing now? So I'm going to put RimWorld on the list, which that's just because for those who didn't see, RimWorld has put out its 1.5 update today. So that is just a thing going on. I do know some people are getting pretty burnt out on RimWorld. I understand that. It's just the unfortunate reality of the timing of it is RimWorld's got their big update. It's kind of a thing. The good news is it does mean there is some changes to RimWorld. So it's not just going in. It'll be a new run because it's probably going to break stuff. So we got that. I'll put Pacific Drive on there, which we played yesterday. We'll put Farming Simulator 22 on there. We'll put Enshrouded on there as well. And was there any other games I wanted to add to that list for the time being? So we got Kenshi, RimWorld, Farming Simulator 22, Enshrouded. Well, I mean, we're playing Kenshi. Pacific Drive. And I'll put the Universe Sim on there. The Universe. Alright. So we've got the poll going. Let's see. Oh, what if it wins? Are you going to play 1.5 a stable test? Trying it out too? Yeah, no, we're going to be messing with 1.5. I've kind of accepted the whole tile challenge run is not going to be seen through, because it's just the reality is they're going to be dropping the big update here in just a couple weeks. So we just aren't going to have the opportunity to finish that. It is a little bit of a bummer, but it is what it is. But yeah, so we've got the vote going on there. But like I said, we do have a new major version of RimWorld has dropped today on the unstable branch, so we do expect to have some problems. I will be disabling all mods because it is a new unstable version, so very really most likely all those mods aren't going to work anyways, so there's no point having them open. Alright, so meanwhile for you, I need you to put on your brand new leg so you can walk again. But yeah, we'll play whatever wins. That's fine. And we'll let you all stand around for a minute and deal with your food. Grab you. Grab you. Oh, you have a couple books as well. I didn't realize. No more science in any here? Okay. What's the panic? All right. Got you. Oh yeah, don't forget to refresh your browser if you do not see the poll. It's just a thing that happens on Twitch that the longer you go without refreshing your browser and all that, that eventually you'll start having stuff won't stay kind of there. You'll have to like refresh, and that's like polls, predictions, raids, all of those can be affected. All right. So I'm gonna grab all of them because now I got plenty of food. Gonna run them over here. I got a quick save, and then we'll drop down team speed to regular time. We will do a proper save. All right, so we've got 4 votes for RimWorld 1.5, 1 vote for Pacific Drive, and 2 votes for Enshrouded. But yeah, so to go through that, RimWorld 1.5 will be checking out the new version if we do that. It'll be a brand new colony, and we're just going to be kind of sciencing the new stuff. So don't expect, like, you know, too much like sweaty challenge run kind of stuff, because there's lots of changes that we don't really know how it's going to affect it. So we just want to play through and figure it out. I don't expect to put in a ton of time. So if you're expecting to see a whole colony start to finish, that's probably not going to happen. This is going to be more like just trying it out, seeing what it's got. Pacific Drive is an extract and driver style game. Let's see, are people getting burnt out on RimWorld? This is the third day either won or got tied. No. So I think the thing, Uche, is one of the things that you'll find with the polls is a lot of times people are going to vote for whatever game they recognize the most. And there are more people that recognize RimWorld than any other game on that list. So it is one of those things. I feel like there is a percent of the audience who is absolutely fine for way more RimWorld, but there's a growing percent of the audience who kind of doesn't care what we play as long as it's not RimWorld, if that makes sense. So it's not like everyone collectively as one unanimous body is like, oh, the RimWorld, I'm getting tired of it. It's that the people who aren't super into RimWorld are getting burnt out on RimWorld. And then there's Farming Simulator, which is where we've been doing the Survivor Man Challenge, where we start with $0 with a chainsaw. We finally did get we actually got a bigger harvester than we had originally intended. We got one on sale. So we got one that's like, it's not technically the second largest one. It's kind of this weird where there's like the biggest one, and then there's like a bunch kind of in this range of like second biggest-ish, with all like their own nuanced differences, and we got something in that range. So there's there. Enshrouded, we'd be getting a brand new run. I haven't actually sat down and done a proper playthrough of Enshrouded. We just kind of touched at the beginning of it. It said, I'm going to revisit this later when it's not oversaturated. So we had that. And then we played the Universe Sim the other day that's a hard one to explain. You put RimWorld on the poll when you have to work for the morning. Gotcha. So RimWorld did win. Honestly, let's see. It's just some quality of life stuff. There's nothing really related to the DLC in the update. Yeah, so there is a bunch of stuff that was added with the 1.5, but it is not all the DLC stuff. It's not all like the spoopy demons and all that kind of stuff. They've done stuff like now when your people get downed, instead of just laying down, they can actually crawl kind of thing. And there's stuff like that going on. All right, so with that said, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I will be stopping where we have the stream on YouTube and TikTok, because I'm going to be switching categories, and that's not functionality that works on those respective platforms. So we are going to end those streams. For those of on Twitch, we're going to switch games. And for those who are like, oh, but I've got like my Beep and Agnew best friends forever tattoo on my inner eyelid, and why are you switching games? Don't worry, Kenshi will be back. As long as people seem to still be interested in seeing me play it, I have no problem playing more of it. But it is a thing that every stream, I usually around halfway, I typically switch games to keep it fresh and interesting, both for me and the audience. So that's what's happening right now. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube and Twitch. Or sorry, YouTube and TikTok. And then Twitch, just hang out for a minute. We'll get everything switched over, and we will be good